Okay, welcome to the Success versus Burnout Summit. I'm your host, Katie Cannon, and I have a super exciting speaker with me today called Michelle. And Michelle is joining us to share all about how to, see the signs your body is suffering from burnt out and how to treat and move forwards. Now, before I go, I'm not going to spend too long on Michelle's incredible bio and all her achievements, because I'm going to put that below the video for you. But Michelle is a fitness entrepreneur. She's a mum. She's a writer. She's a speaker. So get your pens and paper ready, because Michelle has got some amazing, actionable tips and amazing knowledge to share with you. So Michelle, welcome to the summit.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to this.
You're welcome. It's an honor to have you. So let's start. And this is a question I'm asking all the speakers, because whether you've been an entrepreneur, a couple of months, or you've been an entrepreneur for many, many years, we've all experienced burnout at different stages, even if it's just not in business, it's just in life as a whole. So share your experience, Michelle, with our community on your story with being burnt out.
Okay, great. So I was a single mom for many, many years, and I worked 2-3 jobs sometimes, did anything I could, but was burning the candle at both ends, just to make money, make ends meet, survive. And then I got into professional bodybuilding. It was after my divorce. And once I got into that, I started physically pushing myself even more. So I was already in a highly stressed place in my life, and I wanted to be competitive physically. And I got into the health and fitness industry, and I wanted to get my body in shape and really look great. So like a lot of people, I was really pushing, not just with, being a single mom is hard enough, but now I'm working.
That's like 10 jobs in one.
Right. That's a big job, and very hard to manage at times, especially alone. And then I went into working, I have my regular job, and then I started working on my body. And once I started really pushing my body, bodybuilding, I put myself in a competition, and it was competitive bodybuilding. So now I was really pushing myself. And in the meantime, I looked great. My body was getting really shaped and toned. I had this great energy for a while. I was feeling, I was high on everything I was doing. Just, felt like I had everything under control, had the bull by the horns. And eventually over time, I just kept ignoring symptoms. Like I started having sleepless nights. I started having, pain in my feet or in my knees, and in my shoulder, my back, my neck. And I was just overlooking this because I was so driven to succeed. And that's all that mattered to me.
And how old, Michelle, don't mind me asking, how old was your daughter at the time?
So my daughter was probably 6-7 years old.
And is she your only child?
She's my only child.
Your only child. So she was young.
I've had stepchildren, but yes.
Yeah. So she was still young. She was very needy.
She was very young. She was in elementary school. And even as a child, she would see me pushing myself like this and would say, she didn't like it. She didn't have a positive response initially. And she would say things like, Mom, can you just not work out today? Can you just hang out with me? But I felt like I was onto something and I was. I mean, that's the interesting part of this, is that it's a sort of a catch-22, they say, because I was working hard, and yes, I was making a lot of money at the time, and I was succeeding. And then I got into bodybuilding and I succeeded. I even eventually got a pro card, but I went through 2 different phases of burnout. I actually went to bodybuilding twice and burned out twice. I also in massage businesses and health clubs, and I got very burnt out on that, being a business owner and a single mom, and the same type of thing. So I was always doing things that were physical, to the point of burning myself out physically and mentally. Mm-hmm. So when I got into the bodybuilding, I started having a lot of physical symptoms, and I just overrode them because I was competitive and I didn't think it really mattered. And in my mind, what mattered was that I would be successful. So I just ignored until I had a diagnosis of 3 protruding discs in my back, 3 in my neck, a torn shoulder. I have no ACL. I have a torn meniscus.
Wow.
Ended up with a hernia surgery. So that's when I say I was ignoring, it was pretty severe. And those things that I was feeling were very real, but I was driven for success. And I felt like I was just being, weak if I didn't fulfill my day or get everything done, or I wasn't the best mother.
Absolutely. And all you feel, Michelle, because I've had this experience at times as well, you feel, well, I can do it all. You think, I can do it all. I'm Superwoman.
Correct.
I can be an amazing mom and I can rock my businesses. And you think, well, if I can balance all of that, then why has this happened to me? I should.
Sorry about that. Sorry, give me 1 second, Katie. Hold on. Something just was.
There we go. No worries. We had some music there.
It's yoga music. Well, yes, and that's exactly right. I had a big case of Superwoman syndrome. Yeah, 100%. So I was trying to get everything done that I could possibly do in the shortest period of time. And I always put pressure on myself. If I didn't get everything done on the to-do list, I wasn't good enough. I had that psychology going that in order to beat the odds, I had to be extreme, but I didn't feel like I was being extreme. When I look back now, I think, wow, the average person doesn't do half of that. I mean, I look back at my accomplishments. I'm like, whoa, that was a lot. But I was just disassociating from my life and just doing everything I could to make it.
Talk through, just in a real quick nutshell, so people can really relate to how much you were doing on a day-to-day basis when you feel you're about to hit that burnout, and you literally say mentally and physically, day to day, talk us through a really short, like one of your average days, if you can remember what it was like. Get up at 5, 6, probably 4.
Well, I was never an early bird. Now I get up around then and I get my workouts done early because I was working out at midnight sometimes. Wow. If I had homework, that's what I would do. Put my daughter to bed and go down and do what I had to do if I missed it. I wouldn't miss a workout. As far as a typical day, it would be get up, get my daughter ready for school, and then I would have my work day. But I never stopped working. I never time blocked for myself to take care of my body, to rest. I didn't do that. I filled every minute of the day. I didn't even watch TV. Staying productive, thinking of my next marketing strategy, putting stuff up on social media, just grinding. And developing a new website or whatever it was. I always gave myself projects and I would work and work until everything was fulfilled.
And the thing is, when you're an entrepreneur and your mind, you're always constantly coming up with ideas. The brain doesn't stop. You never get to a point where you're like, it's done. There's always something. So if you don't stick that self-care in your diary, it will never get done because there's always something to do,
Well, and that's the importance of time blocking. And now I've learned to do that, and that's scheduled time for me, and I don't negotiate it, even with clients, even with money making opportunities. That's my time.
So amazing. So Michelle, that kind of links us nicely onto the next question. So what would you, when you're at that point, what were your biggest, top 5 tips of signs of burnout? So if someone's watching this and they feel that they're at that point where they can't do anymore and they feel exhausted, what are the key tips that you would say you recognized was being at burnout point?
A lot, boy. So the one of the things was not being able to sleep, being anxious at night, staying up really late, not being able to have a good night's sleep. I still suffer from that. If I've got stuff on my mind, the mind just going and going. There's no end to, survival needs or what to do next. So that becomes a habit and a pattern that will keep you restless at night. So that restlessness, that any sort of anxiety, feeling like you're not feeling calm, you're always the go, go, go even is a form of anxiety, not being able to slow down and be peaceful in the storm. When things are busy, being able to maintain even your composure. Moodiness would be another one. Being very moody, irritated, maybe you're a little shorter tempered. I felt physical symptoms, my stomach. I had, stomach issues. I had the symptoms I described before. My feet, they went numb at one point. I was ignoring, neuropathy in my body. The body tells you a lot. The body is saying, hey, pay attention to me, slow down. Like, this is just too much. I'm on overload. And I think many of us today are definitely on overload, regardless of, right, regardless of my lifestyle or that other busy person's lifestyle. Today, the expectations are beyond the norm in our ability. We're all piggybacking responsibilities to such an extent that we're all vulnerable to burnout. And that's what I see is just we're doing too much. We're all trying to do too much instead of meditation and spending a little more time in nature. So those would be some of the main ones. I would also say I started losing my memory, and I thought I had Alzheimer's or dementia. I was becoming more and more forgetful.
Was it just basic tasks that you felt you couldn't remember, or like the bigger tasks?
Well, it was just silly things like, where are the keys? Where are the keys? Where are the keys? This became like a daily joke in my family. If I put something down, where's my phone? I don't know where my phone is.
Oh, I do that. So it's normally because my toddler's moved it or hidden it behind the pillow.
I call it mother syndrome. I don't even honestly, I've noticed a lot of moms, once they have kids, they start losing things everywhere.
Yeah, that's me. I can honestly look on a day, say I must spend probably half an hour of my time either looking for my phone, my keys, or Ashton.
Right.
My little boy's called Ashton. So looking for Ashton's dummy. Now he's either thrown it somewhere. Now he has a screaming fit if he doesn't have it, especially if we're out. So I like to take it just in case. It's either thrown down the back of a sofa, down the back of a radiator. And it drives me mad. I can't wait till he gets rid of. My 5-year-old had dummy till she was 2.5. So I can't wait. I don't want him to grow up faster, but you know what I mean?
Right.
Stupid. And he actually cracks us up because he lies down on the floor to look under the sofas. So he will lie himself down, and I say, where's your dummy? Where's your dummy? And he'll lie down and look under the sofas because that's what we do.
Aww,
so yeah, looking for stuff. Mums. So absolutely. So
but the kind that I was having, I do want to speak to this. It was different than that. Okay, those things I think are normal, and a lot of people that are busy or have young kids, yes, that's a normal thing that starts to happen. It happens normally when we age. But the concerning part for me with the memory loss was little mini blackouts. Like not remember how I got from one point to another, not having any idea where I parked the car. I know some of us have that too, but this was happening a lot and a lot more frequently, to the point that I had to get cognitive testing.
Wow.
And my scores were very low at the time. And they thought I had the start of something like Alzheimer's or dementia. But that corrected itself once I alleviated the stress and I started taking those opportunities to take care of myself. And that self-care was very important to correcting the memory loss.
So moving on to that, Michelle, treating burnout and moving forwards, what were the things that you did to take care of yourself and to feel like you again, to feel your best self again? Because you look at pictures now.
Well, I read it. This sounds a little strange, but I read spiritual books, and one book was about letting go and allowing things to happen, that you don't always have to reach and try so hard.
Who's your favorite author?
Well, the guy who wrote The Untethered Soul, and it's a book called Surrender, I would say is the book. And his name is Michael Singer.
I've heard of this book. I'm just going to write this down because I've heard of this a couple of times. I definitely want to read this as well.
The book Surrender is a great book. It's a little more advanced thinking because you really have to be ready to let go of control. And so one of the things I had to really work on is not controlling everything, because I was a control freak to the point of my own demise. Because my life set me up for that, but also because I'm a natural leader. I was that kid in
I think that's the trait of an entrepreneur, though. I feel like quite a lot of the time. Yeah. And if you were little and played with me, I was the teacher. You were always the student.
If we had a play that we were creating, I was the star. And
listen to Michelle.
Yes. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. So I have to learn how to be the student and sit back and relax and trust that things are going to work out, and not always feel like I have to do so much to create a life for myself that's worth living. And I would get massages. That's a big thing. I owned a massage business, and that was sort of strategic of me because I figured, well, this is a great way of saving money. Everyone has to interview with me and give me a massage. And I had a team of people working for me. Yep. I had 3 locations, but massage is extremely therapeutic. And you're also meditating during those times that you're receiving massage. And I needed to be on the table. So I sold my business and I started just making sure weekly I got a massage, even if it was an inexpensive place. I would find those and just make sure I did that to physically get through right now. Currently, I teach 14 to 20 classes a week that are fitness classes.
Wow.
And in order to do that, I have to take care of my body. So I also believe in taking naps in the afternoon, especially if I'm getting up at 5 a.m. A full day for me is by 1 o'clock. By 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm tired. So what I do if I'm not going to fall asleep is I just meditate and I breathe and I lie there. I'll put music on, watch a video, whatever it takes. I also do work out, but here's the key. You don't want to work out hard and push yourself and do hot yoga and all these very intensive things if you're already in a place of stress. The antidote is the opposite. You need to be doing things like fitness Pilates or maybe something that's yoga, that not intensive yoga, but a relaxing yoga class. You need the opposite to heal and de-inflame the body. Whereas a lot of people, they're working all day, they're working hard, they're burnout, and then they go and do something super intense and hard every day of the week.
Workout or CrossFit,
right? And it just burns them out even more. Just taxes their body, taxes their joints, taxes their mind, and they're setting themselves up for burnout. And then nutrition is everything. I use some Chinese herbs. I make sure that I eat 5 to 6 meals a day, every 2.5 to 3 hours, to keep my energy levels sustained. I make sure that I put things in there that help with the brain health, that also healing foods, superfoods. Nutrition is a big part of everything I do. And I wouldn't have gotten through so much had I not had the knowledge I have about nutrition and also the body and being able to repair it. So I'm fully functional now, regardless of all my injuries. I do everything. I do squats, lunges, everything they say I shouldn't do, but I modify and I pace myself. And if it doesn't feel good, I don't push to keep doing it. I just back it down. I do it less intensive, but I do a lot. And so I've learned to adapt to where I'm at versus pushing myself all the time.
I'm just going to write that down. You adapt to where you're at.
Yes. But in bodybuilding, no pain, no gain. There's all these terms.
Yeah.
Get in beast mode, go beat yourself up. And the bodybuilding that I did was very feminine. So it wasn't really heavy for me. It wasn't a lot of heavy lifting. It was just a lot of time spent in the gym, pushing myself beyond my edge and my norm. And on a consistent basis, that took a toll. Plus, I already had a level of stress in my life, and I added to that. So I had to pull back from all that heavy, intensive training and rebuild. And now I do a lot. But there are times you have to step back and listen and recover.
Absolutely. Amazing. Thank you so much, Michelle. I took lots of notes here because I'm going to literally share them as I kind of do a summary of our interview below our video. And it's a key thing. One of the reasons I wanted to create this summit was obviously of what we've just gone through with COVID, and everyone's still going through. It's not going away anytime soon. It's being able to overcome challenges, but have the tools and
right.
Very much have the tools in your back pocket so that when you do experience that, because you're going to experience that at some point, whether it's now or maybe in 10 years time, being able to recognize it and then to heal yourself and then obviously to move forwards.
Yes, and people can be extremely hard on themselves. I just want to say a lot of people are committing suicide. You're hearing these cases, and I just heard of a man working 120 hours and he got really burnt out, and that's what he did with 3 kids in the house and his wife. And so it's a very sensitive time. It's more important than ever that we protect ourselves and take good care of ourselves.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Michelle. It's been an absolute
Thank you.
honor having a chat with you. And I know our community will get so much value from everything that you've just shared with you. And I love the way that you've talked not from just a business angle, but from being a professional athlete as well, because the two very much go together as well. So as always, as I end an interview, just take one thing that Michelle has said. Again, like we said, don't overwhelm yourself. Don't have, I used to literally have my notebook and try to implement 20 steps all at once. Pick one, spend a couple of weeks getting that right, and then add another one. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time with another amazing speaker. Have an amazing day. Bye.
Bye.